Okay, let's do this example. We're going to find the area, or we're going to approximate the area under the curve f of x equals square root of x from 0 to 16. And I want to do this by hand or spreadsheet. I'm going to use a spreadsheet to do the calculations. And I want to use 8 rectangles with left endpoints. After that, we're going to use the online calculator to check our answer and to get better approximations. So let's see, 0 to 16 using 8 rectangles. So each one of these rectangles is going to have a width of 2. So I'm going to come along here and I'm going to draw in my vertical lines. That'll be the sides of my rectangles. Here at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. All right, so those are the sides of my rectangles. And it says use the left endpoints. So for this first guy over here, I'm going to use the left endpoint, which is 0, to draw my top. Maybe I should change this to a color that's going to show up better. I'm going to draw the tops in, I'll draw them in red. Okay, so that's my first one. The next rectangle, I'm going to use the left endpoint here to draw my top. I'm going to continue this across. Left, 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 left. All right, so I've got those, and I'm not gonna shade in all of these, but I'm gonna shade in a couple. So the area we're looking at is this plus this. I guess I should go ahead and shade them all in. That won't take too long. All right, that's good enough. All right, so let's look at this. We need to find the areas of all these things. Now each one has a width of 2. And the heights, instead of making a chart like I did before, since the widths are all 2, the heights are going to be, let's see, square root of 0 for the first one. Next one's going to be square root of 1. Or no, square root of 2. Square root of 4, square root of 6, square root of 8, square root of 10. Notice that's just the coordinates up there. Square root of 12 and square root of 14. Is that where I stop? Yeah, because the last rectangle is here and its height is given by square root of 14. So what I can do is I can do 2 times, well, basically I'm going to factor the 2 out. These are the heights. I'm going to multiply all of them by 2. Let's see, what are these numbers? We get 0 plus root 2 plus 4 plus root 6 plus root 8 plus root 10 plus root 12 plus root 14. All right, let's I'm going to use a spreadsheet to calculate this. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put in my numbers, 0, 2, and I can actually put in a formula here. Here, instead of putting 0, 2, 4, and so on, I'm going to put this as equal to 2 plus, then I'm going to click the thing above. That gives me this. And I can copy and paste this down until I get up to what I need, 14. All right. Now next to that, for some reason I'm starting on the 11th line, but that's okay. This is equal to the square root of this number. So those are all of my, these are all my heights. My widths are all 2. So my areas are going to be equal to this cell times this cell. When I paste all that, I'm going to copy that. Wait a second. The area, let me type that in again, is equal to this times this. And hit enter. So that one's 0. This next one should be like 2.8. Then I'm just going to paste this down. So those are my areas of the individual rectangles. And I can do this and say this is equal to the sum of these guys. So that gives me an answer of 38.12. That's an approximation. So this is approximately 38.12. All right. Let me show you, this is a tool that I made. It's an online calculator. And let's see if you, here's the URL for it up here on the previous page. And if you click that, you can get to it. But let's see, Desmos, I've got it here in this. Wait now, Remon Calc, here we go. So here is a calculator that'll do this for us. Now what I'm going to do is put in, this is square root x. This is not fancy, so it's not going to write it as a radical. It's just going to do this. And now let's go from 0 to 16. And we used left endpoints before, and we used 8 of these. And so sure enough, the value down here, 38.12, is what we got before. Now, let me zoom so we can see this whole thing. I'm going to zoom out. Yeah, there we go. So that's from 0 to 16. Now, what was the other thing I wanted to do? I wanted to use this to check that we got the right answer. But I also want to look at some other things. Using the left endpoint, we get this for our answer, 38.12. Now, if we use the right endpoint instead, that's going to give us these rectangles. And those rectangles are going to be an overcount. So notice this gives us 46. If I use the midpoint, each one of these rectangles is going to count a little bit. We're going to get a little bit of extra space counted and a little bit of, well, there's some overcount and undercount on each one of those. So let's see. So the other thing we can do to make this better is use more rectangles. Now, if I change this from 8 to 16, then you can see all the little errors, they get smaller. If I change that again to 32, each one of those is going to get subdivided in 2. And so the error is getting smaller and smaller. And this, I can just put in large numbers if I want to. With the 100 rectangles, we'd get this for our estimate, 42.67. Let's put in some bigger numbers. 1,000, 42.666, 100,000, or no, 10,000. So if you look at this, it looks like this is converging to 42 and 2/3. Let's put one more in here. I'm really making my computer work, doing 100,000 rectangles. But yeah, the bigger that end goes, the closer this gets to 42 and 2/3. So let's see. So this is what we got for our estimate with 8 rectangles. And let's see, we used the online calculator to check our answer. And for C, it said until you can guess the exact answer. The exact answer is 46 and 2/3. Now you could write that with a 6 repeating, or you could write it as 46 and 2/3, or let's see, 3 times 46. 138, 140 over 3. So these are our exact answers, and we're getting these really by just using a ton of rectangles and adding those up. So we're going to see pretty soon how to do this and get the number, how to do this using limits and getting exact values. Well, let's see. That's it for this part of this section. We still need to talk about distances, and we'll do that in the next video.